Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today we're in front of my 150 where the fish are eagerly begging for food. I thought that today I would add back in the white cloud mountain minnows, the long fin variety, which I call meteor minnows, back into this aquarium. There's still, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them in there, and I want to add that many more again to fill up this mid-water schooling section. One of the goals for this year is to finally finish stocking this aquarium, so stay tuned for more of that. But for now, I'm just going to add the minnows, then we're going to feed it and take a look at all the critters. Now these are the minnows I'm going to add back in here. If you guys remember correctly, these are ones that I moved outside to breed, and I have a whole aquarium of their offspring. As some of those get larger, I may add more of them in here as well. But I find that the white clouds are one of the very best fish to keep in a Hillstream environment like this. Obviously the shiners and the Daniocaethid or orange fin Danios do quite well as well, but white clouds are bomb-proof, versatile, breedable, and just really amazing fish in my opinion. These have been transitioned from rainwater into my tap water over the past week or so, and they are ready to be added in. You can see there's some females and some males, most of which are the long fin variety that I've been line breeding. Really beautiful little fish. So I'm just gonna dump them in, and we will see what that does to the schooling activity in this aquarium. I know many of you have criticisms of this aquarium because it doesn't have a real heavy stock load, but personally, it's my favorite aquarium in the fish room, and there's nothing I enjoy more than watching all these fish. I think the addition of the extra Daniocaethids really made a huge difference in this aquarium, and now with the white clouds added back in, the schooling fish portion of this aquarium is complete. Although, as I mentioned, I may add some more white clouds back in the future. I do still have some plans for more Stiphodons, but we'll have to see what happens with that. For now, let's grab some food and take a closer look at some of the fish. I'm just putting some Sarah O-Nip in here, simply because it sticks to the glass, so it's easy to get a good look at some of these fish, and then I'll drop some into the bottom as well for the bottom dwellers. Everybody has settled into this aquarium really well. I started this aquarium 3 years ago, and it was the very first build on my channel, and it was a tank that I've always wanted to make, but just never had the space, the money, or just the ability to put it together. And when I started doing YouTube, I decided it was the perfect opportunity for me to put together a really big aquarium for Hillstream species, and it has been so rewarding. Now, because of the relative difficulty of getting a lot of the species that I wanted to include in this aquarium, 3 years later, it's still not fully stocked. Also, because I do a really prolonged quarantine for every species that goes into this aquarium, it is very much a marathon and not a sprint. I do quarantine for 4 to 6 months of health before I add new fish into this aquarium, and that's because it's 150 gallons. If I were to need to medicate this aquarium, that would be very, very expensive. And not only that, but a lot of these loaches in particular are extremely sensitive to chemicals and medication, so I wanted to minimize any risk at all to the inhabitants of this aquarium. So the easiest way to do that is a really, really long quarantine period. Now, some of the species are more common, like the Soelia linealata. Some are a little less common, like the Rhinogobius I have in here. But all of them share the same love of very dilute, cool, fast-moving waters. And it's been really rewarding to see them hit maturity and just thrive in this aquarium. Just to refresh your memory, this is an inert substrate of a Carib Sea Supernatural's Peace River substrate. This tank is not fertilized. It does not use CO2, and again, this is just a plain gravel substrate. I've chosen all plants that can do well with this sort of minimalist upkeep, including things like Java fern, African water fern, bucephalandras, crypts, mosses, physidens, and subwassertang. And really everything has well exceeded my expectations. I think I added like 6 or so of these cobitus loaches way back in the beginning, and now they're just all over every surface. I still have hopes that my Borneo suckers and my Sowelia will start breeding, and I think I'm going to try and pull a pair of the scarlet gobies from this aquarium for a targeted breeding program. Now, there are fry of the Brachydaniocyathid, or those orange fin danios, swimming up at the surface, so I do know fish are breeding. There's also a bunch of stiphodons and a bunch of other unusual loaches in this aquarium. The biggest surprise for me is how much I've come to love the different shiners I've put in here. There's yellowfin shiners and rainbow shiners, and seeing the transition of colors that they get as they go in and out of breeding dress is just really spectacular. I wouldn't change much about this aquarium, though I do look forward to getting more of the little stiphodons in order to share them with you guys. As always, your opinion really matters to me. Let me know which of the fish in this aquarium are your favorite in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for your continued support.